In the complex ecosystem of modern organizations, the mechanisms of human perception and individual decision-making serve as the invisible engines driving every action, policy, and strategic pivot. To understand how an organization functions, one must first accept that perception is not a passive reception of the world, but a highly active and subjective construction. It is the process by which individuals organize and interpret sensory impressions to give meaning to their environment. However, what occurs in this process is rarely an objective reflection of reality. Instead, information is filtered through the perceiver's unique psychological makeup, their motives, past experiences, and expectations, as well as the target's characteristics and the situational context. This creates a fundamental organizational challenge. Employees and managers do not act based on what the workplace actually is, but on what they perceive it to be, making perceived reality the primary driver of behavior. This subjective filtering is most clearly seen in attribution theory, which describes how we attempt to determine whether an individual's behavior is internally or externally caused. In the fast-paced corporate world, this leads to significant judgment errors. The most prevalent is the fundamental attribution error, where we tend to underestimate the influence of external situational factors and overestimate the influence of internal or personal characteristics when judging others. For example, if a teammate misses a deadline, we may instinctively label them as lazy, internal, rather than considering a flawed software system, external. This is often paired with the self-serving bias, a protective mechanism where individuals attribute their own successes to internal ability while blaming failures on external bad luck. These biases create friction, distort performance reviews, and can erode the trust necessary for high-functioning teams. To survive the sheer volume of data encountered daily, the human brain utilizes heuristics or mental shortcuts. While efficient, these shortcuts, such as the halo effect, selective perception, and stereotyping, frequently lead to perceptual distortion. The halo effect, for instance, occurs when our general impression of a person is based on a single positive characteristic, such as physical appearance or a single successful project, causing us to overlook critical flaws in other areas. Conversely, selective perception allows us to speed read others, but risks us seeing only what we want to see, reinforcing our existing prejudices. In an organizational setting, these shortcuts can lead to systemic unfairness, where promotions and opportunities are handed out based on biased mental models rather than objective merit and performance. The profound link between these perceptions and individual decision-making cannot be overstated. Decision-making is essentially a reaction to a perceived problem that requires a choice between alternatives. While the rational decision-making model describes how individuals should behave to maximize outcomes through a consistent, value-maximizing process, the reality is often far messier. Most human beings operate under bounded rationality. We recognize that we cannot process all possible information, so we construct simplified models that extract the essential features from problems. We then satisfy or choose the first solution that is good enough, rather than the one that is truly optimal. This is further complicated by the use of intuition, a non-conscious process created out of distilled experience that, while fast, is highly susceptible to the very perceptual biases we seek to avoid. Ultimately, the quality of an organization's output is determined by its ability to mitigate these mental traps. Common decision-making biases, such as anchoring, where we fixate on initial information, or confirmation bias, where we only seek out information that reaffirms our past choices, can lead to catastrophic strategic failures. To evolve, leaders must cultivate a culture of perceptual awareness, encouraging diverse viewpoints to challenge individual biases and utilizing data-driven frameworks to ground subjective interpretations.